asked Atreus why he feels the need to hide things from you?
Of course. It solved nothing.
It isn't supposed to.
You are meaning?
The boy is allowed to have secrets. All children do.
His secrets are dangerous.
Of that I have no doubt. Still, they are his to bear.
Ah, bear. Yes. At least that one isn't so much a secret anymore.
Freyr kept many secrets as well in his youth. He and Atreus were much alike.
Disobedient. Reckless.
Oh yeah. With a compulsion to help those in need. That was partly what led him to Alfheim in the first place, and why he stayed so long.
Winter has changed Atreus. This prophecy weighs on him. Shapes him into someone different.
He is deciding which path to take. It may not be the path you choose for him, but ultimately, it's his path to walk.
Bastard's about to explode!
It is odd to watch you, of all people, go to such effort to help this ancient creature.
Scouting clears my mind.
Right.
Speak your piece.
Atreus has influenced you, has he not? Conditioned you to help those in need?
What of it?
You should trust that you've influenced him in turn. Enemy behind you! A Hafgufa. I haven't seen one since I was a child.
Great Gefyun's ghost! That's the largest bloody Hafgufa I've ever laid eyes on.
That howling sounds familiar.
It's the Song of the Sands. They don't normally sing like this underground.
That must be the cause of the storm.
Aye. Judging by all this hive matter weighing it down, it's been trapped here for dozens of winters.
There must be a way to cut it loose.
I'd wager that there's nothing here a well-placed throw of the axe can't solve.
If we can clear those rocks away, we might get the right angle. Seem to escape.
Much of the hive matter is gone. We can free it from the surface now.
How in the realms did they capture such a large one?
Hafgufas are known to burrow, so I'd hesitate to place full blame on our Dark Elf friends.
Even though it's bound by their hive?
Hive matter doesn't belong to the Dark Elves, any more than the light belongs to the Light Elves. It's just another of Alfheim's natural resources. One the Elves have used since the time of their ancestors. And while the Light Elves seem keen to banish the hive over on their side, the Dark Elves make effective use of it out here in the Barrens.
But if this is true, are we doing more harm than good by destroying this hive?
You wish to leave the creature enslaved?
No. Freyr would appreciate our efforts to ease the harshness of these lands. We should free it.
Here! You should be able to cut this part away and free the half-goofa!
Never imagined I'd see a half-goofa fly again. Can't believe the lad missed this.
The storm is gone. The Song of the Sands has returned to Alfheim, albeit somewhat diminished from how I remember it as a child.
Atreus will be glad to hear it is no longer in pain.
You look forward to telling him.
I do.
It is not too late to avoid my mistakes. Your son must walk his own path, but you can still guide him. And I will help you, however I can, for his sake.
Thank you.
Well, nice to be able to have a real conversation out here for once. Watch your left!
On your down! Up there! Grimwood coming this way!
Behind you! Poison!
Alka!
One more to go!
What is it, Mimir?
That's nothing, brother. Just... You ever have those moments where you wish you could... go back? Rewrite your own past. Make different decisions.
Journeying through time is more trouble than it is worth.
Fair point. You're speaking metaphorically, right?
No.
Of course you're not.
Mimir, I never asked how it felt to lose your head.
What would you have me say? That it tickled?
Merely curious.
If you wish to derive some satisfaction from my pain, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. Kratos swung swift and true, didn't you, brother? I felt nary a scratch.
Shame.
Freya, can we return to your story of being through? You said if he built Asgard's wall in time, he was promised an audience with you.
Yes. Or so I learned one day when Odin burst into our bedchambers, raging and half-drunk before noon, telling me to get dressed and go see what the Mason wants. So, off I went, not knowing what had truly been promised or expected. Or stashed in the road for emergency.
Hold. We'll finish later.
Watch your back! What's that?
A diagram. A sword hilt.
Perhaps we should show it to one of the dwarves. They'll know what to do with it.
A horn. Look here.
Do you regret it, Lemire?
Most likely. What are we talking about in particular?
Giving up your body?
I regret exchanging my life for my freedom? That's a question I ask myself every day, my lady.
What about today?
Today? Glad to be out in the world. How else could I spend such quality time with you?
Okay, okay.
Back to your story, Freya. You were forced to grant an audience after the building of Asgard's wall, yeah?
That's right. And this mason, this giant in disguise,
His name was Hrimthur.
he just smiled to see me. And as you said, he whispered in my ear. He said the Aesir had killed his father, and he needed to know that one day they'd burn for it.
Let this wait. Stay alert.
More bloody drop.
Enemies to your left!
Reminds me of tales of a cruel empress, one too angry to die.
We will see.
So, Freya, if we might finish your story? Hrimthur revealed to you he wanted revenge on the Aesir for killing his father.
Yes, he did. I pointed out I was Aesir now too, technically. He gave me a look, as if he somehow knew better and continued.
Set that aside for now. Come.
So, Freya, if we might finish your story. How did Hrimthur intend to get revenge on the Aesir for killing his father? Did it have to do with Asgard's wall?
It did. He said he'd built in a structural flaw behind the Asgard Realm Tower.
I knew it! How do we make use of it?
We don't. He said Surtur would know what to do. And if Surtur's approaching Asgard's wall...
Then it is already Ragnarok.
Aye. Blast it! I hoped it might have given us another way. Freya, I've always wondered, why was Freya so revered here so quickly upon his first arrival?
Well, to begin with, it wasn't his first arrival. Very few know this, but Freyr was one of the earliest visitors to Alfheim, back in the dawn of realm travel.
No more for now. Focus.
Freya, earlier you mentioned that Freyr was one of Alfheim's first visitors. Care to elaborate? I wasn't in these lands at the dawn of realm travel.
Well, we believed for a long time that all the giants had died in the flood, until one of them appeared in Vanaheim.
Hold. What is that? These runes.
Freya, do you mind picking up that story about your brother? I think you said a giant had appeared in Vanaheim.
That's right. Her name was Gerd, and she came offering to teach us the secrets of traveling between realms using Bifrost light.
Enough talk for now. Be ready.
Freya, do you mind picking up that story about your brother? You mentioned a giant had come to Vanaheim to teach you of the Bifrost.
Yes, Gerd. Freyr became immediately infatuated with her. He always yearned to wander, and along came someone who could truly show him how. So, wander they did, exploring the world tree from root to branch. But one day, it came time for Gerd to wander away.
Another time. We must focus.
Sort of a harp. I can play beautifully, you know.
I do not, and would prefer it remain that way.
must say, I think we make a good team. With my brains, Kratos' brawn, and my lady's,
Wisdom? Magic? Ability to tolerate you for long periods of time?
I was going to say brutality.
That works.
Freya, getting back to your brother learning to realm travel. I take it the romance with his teacher ended poorly?
It did for him. Freyr was heartbroken and resolved himself to perform some great feat to win her back. He set his aim on the grandest of gestures. He intended to be the first to find the elusive source of Bifrost light. And he succeeded, although quite by accident. Freyr believed he navigated best while fortified by a potent blend of Vanir herbs. When he wandered, he wandered. And he managed to wander from the World Tree directly into the Lake of Souls. The elves had never seen anybody come out of the lake before, so it got some attention.
Oh, that is bloody hilarious.
Wait. Let us look this way.
Much of the sand has been cleared away, but another storm rages beyond that pass, which must mean...
Another half-goofa.
I remember when Freyr and I traveled to this realm as children. The desert was healthy and full of life back then. I can't help but fear that era has ended for good and our efforts here are futile.
It's a fair concern. Healing this land will take more than a pair of singing half-goofa. But I have to believe, in the long run, we're doing right by Alfheim. Well, best we start looking for a way underground.
Keep a lookout for a cave! I see an entrance!
I hope Freyr will appreciate our work here in the desert. I wonder if he knows how poorly this realm has fared in his absence.
Aye. Hearing the Song of the Sands again is a rare privilege, even if it's only a solo act.
Or a duet, once this Hofgufa is free. This architecture. It is not of the Dark Elves.
An abandoned ancient settlement, by the looks of it. Built long before the Lightwell's creation.
More hive matter as well.
I'd say we're on the right track, then.
kind of hive material is sensitive to smell. How odd. When I last came here with you and Atreus, I assumed the absence of Alfheim's light was an aberration. I didn't realize it was covered by hive matter.
Aye. And as far as the Dark Elves are concerned, it's that light column in the center of the temple that's the aberration. Just look at how old some of these surfaces are. Far older than the light well, or even our trapped Halfgiffer for that matter.
That's quite the empathetic perspective, Mimir.
Well, dangle from a burly god's backside for a few winters, and you'll find yourself looking for all sorts of new perspectives.
But denser. Well, there you go.
Wretch on the left! Brother! The weak bastard's about to explode!
Enemies on the left!
Light elves.
Behind you, Kratos!
Light elves don't often travel underneath the barrens, do they?
Territory changes hands often in Alfheim. Or so it appears.
Big Veer did mention that these ruins have historical significance for the Light Elves. I assume they're only here to keep intruders out.
Well, at least they tried.
Good eye. Let's continue, shall we?
Left flank! Enemy on the left!
I hope freeing these Hofgufas will allow them to breed again. It was a dazzling display once. The skies of Alfheim filled with their song.
I imagine it's the lack of fresh light that's caused this pair to grow abnormally large. No use in having babies if there's nothing for them to feed on.
Trying to protect their children from a harsh world. I can relate. I wonder if these two comprehend the choice they face once free.
What choice do you speak of?
The life cycle of the Hakufa. In order to breed, they must pass on their light to their children.
And without light, they will die.
I suppose that's all any of us can hope for in the end. That our death has purpose. That we can live on through our children. Well, given another chance, I know what choice I will make. There's some Twilight Stone. Good. Almost there. Well done. Time to set it loose.
Aye. Back to the surface then.
Right side, incoming!
A pipe.
Used in many of Freyr's blessings, I imagine.
The fate of these creatures. It reminds me of a story.
Does it?
There once was a blacksmith whose king commanded him to construct a box that could contain all the evils of the world. But no metal could hold such a power. So the blacksmith used the flame
Kratos, is this a story meant to ease my grief?
Perhaps it is just a story. A way to pass the time.
I appreciate the sentiment. Your stories,
What about my stories?
I wouldn't exactly call them comfort.
Fair. Mimir is a better storyteller.
Now, don't sell yourself short, brother. You've come a long way from the days of laconic fables.
It's okay. Finish your story, Kratos.
The blacksmith's daughter was the key to unlocking the box. He died trying to protect her from those who would open it.
Well, at least it's a relatable story.
It appears we've overstayed our welcome in our time. Again.
Yelpa!
Time to end this storm.
If my stories are of no comfort, take solace in knowing you did what you thought was best for your son's safety. Even these creatures know. There is little choice for a parent. You are not alone.
I'm not, am I? And now neither are they.
The Song of the Sands. Well, didn't know I could get misty. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Kratos. This land sings once more. We've done good here.
No rush to leave yet, is there? Who knows what kind of adventures await us in our freshly lit barrens?
A statue of my brother. How quaint.
have survived Freya's absence, but a truce clearly did not. Monuments are useless to those who ignore their message.
He didn't create a truce through diplomacy alone. His godhood, his very presence is what he... But once he left, he had to have known.
Well, he had good reason to leave. Some jackass convinced his sister to marry a madman.
You said monuments are useless. Why restore this one?
It was hidden for some time. Perhaps now it can serve as a reminder.
Aye. Nothing reminds people of their history like chiseled, well-lit marble.
Ring of crystal shards glow.
Looks like we can read the inscription now as well.
The light from the crystals. It is in the sand now.
Would you look at that? Freyr's gift endures after all. Or should I... say, his presence?
You are not funny.
Even when Freya was actually here, the peace was fragile. Surely a bit of extra light in the desert isn't enough to make it last.
Before I met Faye, I could not imagine a life of peace. After her death, in our travels to Jotunheim, I found peace on my own. It remains my responsibility to make it last.
Perhaps the elves will find peace again one day, even without Freya's guidance.
His presence continues to guide them, whether they realize it or not.
Right side, brother!
It requires 2 keys.
What are they keeping back there?
That's the beauty of a locked door. It could be anything. Monsters, treasure. Knowing our luck, it'll be a bit of both.
Behind you, brother!
Look out! Righto!
Alpha!